My dearest brothers and sisters. This is Hakann speaking. I greet you in peace and love. Most people are attracted to people who embody or represent a quality that they would subconsciously like to have more of. So for example, a woman who always plays it safe might be attracted to an adventurous man, perhaps not because she is actually attracted to him specifically, but more because she wants adventure in her life. Similarly, most men on a deep, subconscious, soul level would like to get more in touch with feminine energy. And thus they're often attracted to feminine women, who typically have mostly feminine energy, plus some masculine energy. Similarly, most women on a deep, subconscious, soul level would like to get more in touch with masculine energy. And thus they're often attracted to masculine men, who typically have mostly masculine energy, plus some feminine energy. So if you are a man who is struggling with finding a partner, then you may want to work on becoming a more masculine man, preferably in a non-destructive way. You don't need to become stereotypically masculine. You can become masculine in your own way. There's a nearly infinite amount of ways in which you can be masculine. Masculinity may have gotten a very bad reputation on Earth, with people heavily emphasizing negative masculine traits, and labeling positive masculine traits as not specifically being masculine. The misunderstanding there is that women can embody masculine energy too, but despite that fact, masculine energy still has a lot of masculine-specific positive qualities. For example, generosity is a masculine trait, or in other words it is a trait that belongs to masculine energy. Yes, of course women can be generous too, but that is simply because women have some amount of masculine energy too. Here are some positive masculine traits: generosity, protecting others, providing for others, wielding authority wisely and justly, wielding power wisely and justly, stepping up and taking charge when appropriate, taking responsibility, fatherhood, resilience, discipline, sticking with beneficial routines even if you don't feel like it on a given day, the ability to stand up again after having taken a literal or metaphorical punch, the ability to make a plan and then execute, being action-oriented, confidence, strength, and not only in a physical sense, logic, being able to make hard choices, courage, including daring to speak your mind and being yourself even if that's unpopular, perseverance, being adventurous, the ability to focus, being emotionally calm, grounded and centered even if the outside world is chaotic, being a stabilizing rock in the storm for the people around you, the wisdom to know when to stuff down your emotions because things need to get done and people depend on you, but also the wisdom to know when to sit down and deal with your emotions, integrity and honesty, working towards a vision or purpose that's greater than yourself, lifting other people up, although that last one can be part of feminine energy too. As you see, masculinity has a huge amount of positive traits, to the extent that someone would barely be able to function without masculine energy. Of course, femininity has a huge amount of positive traits too, and people would also barely be able to function without feminine energy. And yes, I know that women may say at this point that they have a number of these masculine qualities too, and I don't doubt that, but again, that is simply you using and partly embodying your masculine energy. It's similar to how men can be empathic by using their feminine energy, even though empathy is a quality that belongs to femininity. If you are a man and you are in resistance to femininity, or you are a woman and you are in resistance to masculinity, then you are in resistance to a part of yourself. Furthermore, you are in resistance to a part of yourself that you actually need to be able to function. So if you are, that is something you may want to work on. Most men have mostly masculine energy, and most women have mostly feminine energy. And that also explains why yes, there are more male CEOs on Earth. Now, of course women shouldn't be discriminated against. Obviously. If a woman is more qualified than a man for a CEO position, then clearly the woman should be hired. However, there's nothing wrong with there being more male CEOs in a society, because being a CEO requires a ton of masculine skills and a ton of masculine energy, and that simply comes more naturally to men. This is not a flaw in society, it's just how biology and energy works. People can be angry at reality, but reality has a way of asserting itself, and trying to live outside of reality only ultimately hurts people. Some people nowadays use the logic that more men are CEOs and thus there must be discrimination against women and thus we need female-only quotas. That is like saying that there are more female nurses and thus apparently there is discrimination against male nurses and thus we need male-only nurse quotas. That would mean insisting that say 50% of nurses are male, even if that means rejecting capable and passionate female nurses and instead hiring incapable, unmotivated male nurses. Of course, no one would agree with these proposed male-only nurse quotas. However, that logic is the exact same as the logic for female quotas for CEOs. Yes, I understand that the position of a CEO is more highly paid and more prestigious, but that doesn't suddenly make this line of logic valid. Now I do agree that it's not fair that CEOs get paid in some cases a huge amount of money while nurses often struggle to have a decent life, but that's not an issue that can be resolved with women-only quotas. The reason why Tunia and I keep speaking out against women-only quotas is that average men, not exceptional men, but average men, are already in a situation where practically no one cares if they live or die, if they succeed or suffer, beyond speaking empty platitudes. Average men typically can't choose between either working or becoming a stay-at-home mother and having someone else take financial care of them. The only path that average men really have towards being treated as a full human being is if they are useful. Well, if you then start taking away their ability to be useful by discriminating against them, which is what preferential hiring for women boils down to, then you take away their oxygen, their lifeline. Hence women-only quotas, or the preferential hiring of women, are profoundly destructive towards men. Of course, women are also treated poorly by society and by some men, in a number of ways. We're not saying that men have it worse than women. Our ultimate goal is that both men and women come together, not as victims or as people who play zero-sum games, but as people who wish to build a better world together. And this does mean that both men and women should insist that the other gender doesn't get screwed over to benefit their own gender. Which means that yes, in an ideal world, women should speak out against female-only quotas. And of course, if a man overhears that a male friend of his is planning to treat a woman poorly, he should speak up, etc. With this, I leave you today. You have all my love and peace. I know that things are confusing and scary out there. So everyone has my sincere respect if they are able to go within to observe their own pain, as opposed to either lashing out at others, or insisting that the outer world be changed in a way that hurts others and helps them. Your star brother, Hakann.